one of the classic examples is when it comes to the euro area, the European Monetary Union. Well, for example, the ECB, European Central Bank, started doing certain things, changing its policy, and the Germans, a group of Germans, sued to say that that was illegal, that it was against the treaty. And there was then an appeal through the German system, and it came up to the German Supreme Court, and they made a ruling. Now, the question is, does the German Supreme Court rule, or does the European Court of Justice rule? And so this is really a policy about monetary policy, but deep down, it came down to a legal issue between the legal orders in Germany versus the EU. And then, so in chapter 2, we talk about the legal order and explain how the hierarchy on the autonomy of the European Union's system is essential for underpinning the policies like monetary policy. And the same thing is true of regulations, for example, just plain old regulations, like you probably have read that in the European Union now, you're only going to be able to use these things, and that was a European Union regulation. And you might want to wonder is how are they going to enforce that in all the member states? And the answer is it comes from the structure of the legal system, not anything to do with institutions of policymaking or things like that. So you can't really understand the economic policy making without the legal policymaking. And the same thing's true of history. History is incredibly dominant in explaining what Europe is doing and why. If you don't really understand where Europe started, you could never understand why it is the way it is now. And I'm quite sure, Charles and I are quite sure, that if they started today, they would not arrive at the EU that they have now. In fact, it's way more supranational than probably would ever arise in today's world. But it started in the post-war period, which was incredibly different. So in order to understand the way Europe is today, you really have to understand its origins and the interactions going forward.